Hi, my name is Naomi from Naomi Loves History, and I create historical clothing. I've been doing a little mini series over on my TikTok that has stalled a bit, not gonna lie. But I have recreated clothing and outfits from different historical portraits. But here's the kicker, of Black women. You don't really see a lot of historical portraits of Black women or Black people in general that are not depicted in slavery, in some type of enslavement. So I decided to do a deep dive on the internet and find historical portraits of Black women. And I came across this one amazing portrait, one that I've seen before. And it's of this amazing woman, and I can't wait to highlight her today because her story is truly incredible. I'm going to be recreating the outfit of this portrait of Phillis Wheatley. Phillis Wheatley was the first English-speaking enslaved Black woman to be able to publish in the mid-1700s. Her work was admired by not only people like George Washington, who she corresponded with, but Ben Franklin and Voltaire. Phillis was born around 1753 in West Africa. She was captured by slave traders at age around 7 or 8 and brought over to Boston in the year 1761. She was sold to the Wheatley family upon arrival and was named after the slave ship that brought her over, the Phillis. Her story of enslavement is super interesting because it is so unique. She was able to be educated by her enslavers. They took a special interest and saw how capable she was of learning, and they nurtured that aspect of her. You don't see this happening. This is in a time where people truly believed that Black people were less intelligent and had no capacity for learning. The fact that her enslavers saw her intelligence and nurtured it is an incredible anomaly in such a brutal world at the time. In the first 16 months that she was with the Wheatley family, she was not only fluent in English, she was fluent in Latin and Greek. She had a full scope of British literature. She was interested in astronomy and geography, and she could read the Bible from front to back and memorized it. You have to understand, at this time, most people in the colonies couldn't even read, including white and Black people. She was a genius. Around age 12 to 14, she started writing poetry, and she was first published in 1767. Her road to publication was not an easy one, though. People in the colonies were just not interested in supporting a Black person, let alone a Black woman writer, a poet. So the Wheatley family helped her get published in London. In 1773, at 20 years old, Phillis and the son of the Wheatleys, Nathaniel, traveled to London to get published and have a little tour of her book. She was loved in London. They really were impressed by her poise and her grace and her work. It was an incredible experience, I'm sure, and to be able to be a part of an artistic community and have respect in that way, in that time, not only for a person, but for a woman, a Black woman, I'm sure it meant everything to her. After she returned from England, she was emancipated shortly after, and she kept writing her poetry. She has a famous letter that she corresponded with George Washington. She was a forefront to the anti-slavery movement, and you could see in her poetry her talking about how enslavement affected her, how her life story, and how she thinks that people can move forward and be successful in America at the time for a better future, but that included Black people. It's a very interesting thing because her whole existence was a threat to white colonists at the time. She not only proved that Black people had the capacity for learning and high intelligence, but she directly forced people to question their ideas about Black people's intellect and humanity. So in honor of Phyllis, I would love to be able to recreate her clothing in this amazing portrait of her and kind of get a little insight into what people were wearing in the mid-1700s. So let's get dressed. So in 18th century clothing, you always start off with your shift or chemise. This is made out of really lightweight linen. It's nice and free form and flowing. And the point of this garment is to keep your clothes protected from you. So like all the dirt and the oils and the sweat and all that stuff, it's gonna rub off on this base layer of clothing to protect all your outer clothes, to make sure that they don't get dirty and they can last a long time. Next are going to be your stockings and your shoes. You're going to want to put them on first because when you're putting on 18th century stays, it can restrict a little bit of movement. They're not uncomfortable, but you know, it's a little harder to just like get in and bend over and do all the things that you need to put on your shoes. So that's next. And now the fun part, the stays. So to put these stays on, I'm going to use this little needle called a bodkin, and that just helps protecting the ribbon, which you can already see is a little frayed. And it's just super way easier to just string these guys in and lace yourself up. So we're all tied up in our stays, shoes and socks on, chemise on, we're ready to go. Now, it's a really common misconception that like stays and corsets are supposed to be tight-laced and you can't breathe and you won't be able to do anything. That's not real. You're supposed to be able to move around. You're supposed to be comfortable and they shouldn't restrict you in any way at all. And of course, obviously your breathing can get a little restricted, but that is something that you get used to in time. The only people who would tight lace is like nobility and like for fancy occasions and people who don't have to work, right? So just wanted to make that clear. So next layers, we have our petticoats, and we're gonna start with my base one. This one is also made out of linen. And the great thing about 18th century clothing is that it's so easy to make. Just a little disclaimer, Naomi from the future here. When I say 18th century clothes are easy to make, I mean the base layers. They are very easy, made out of rectangles and triangles. Just like any other century, they have incredibly intricate gowns and amazing clothing that they make that should not be overlooked by my silly little brain. So just want to put that out there. Thanks, guys. This is 2 rectangles, and so smart too. 2 rectangles sewed together at the sides. Tie first in the butt front. Then you tie this guy in the back. And there you go. On. No problem. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Next, we're going to put on our pocket, and another reason why I love 18th century clothing. You have pockets, and you can make them any size you want to. This is a super fun and wonderful thing to have, especially to hold all your goodies in. There we go. Now we're going to do our over petticoat, and it's the same as the bottom one, just over. It's the one that you're going to see. So what I observed in Phyllis's portrait, she has a typical gown on of the time. I don't have a closed front gown, but I do have an open front gown. And so with that, I'm gonna put a stomacher on, and that is just a little thing that goes in the front that covers the stays. And yeah, we'll see how it looks on. You put stomachers on by using pins, and that's how you put most of the dresses on too. You just pin them into your stays. I'm not sticking myself. Lots of people wonder if I do stick myself though when I'm pinning myself into these dresses, and yes, of course sometimes I do, but typically when I get it right, they go right between the fabric of the stays, and so they don't really get me at all. which is wonderful. I have the stomachron, and now for the gown. So like I said, this is an open front gown. It's specifically called an English gown, which is a super popular dress style at the time. You can see that it has these little tabs in the front called rovings, and then in the back, it's pleated down on the sides to fit, and it's just a gorgeous, super fun dress, and I loved making this. It's my first hand-sewn project, and might I say, slayed.
Did somebody say slay?
And I'm just gonna pin these guys on, and I will get back to you in the very end. Okay, so I flipped the camera around just so I can see what I'm doing, but this is gonna be our kerchief. This is gonna go around my shoulders. These are super, super important during the time period. They help protect you from your body, like I said earlier, the oils, the dirt, all that stuff, but also the sun. You have these big open front gowns that expose a lot of your skin, and so you want to make sure that you're protected from the sun. This kerchief I got from Burnley and Trowbridge. It's an exact reproduction. You can see plenty of these in different types of portraits from the era, and it's exactly what Phyllis is wearing in her portrait, so it's perfect. And Phyllis's, I'm pretty sure she's wearing it down. Like so. Yeah, that looks good. Funny, a lot of people have called this kerchief that says that it looks like bacon, which I can't unsee now. So thank you. Thank you all. So we're coming down to the final accessories here. We have a white apron, of which she's wearing in the portrait. So I'm gonna put that on. Okay. Perfect. Yay! It's coming together. All right. Okay, last couple accessories. She's wearing a cap, and she has a black ribbon. So I'm gonna put that on. Black ribbon secured for the cap. This one is called the Phillis. So I'm pretty sure that it was named right after her. There we go. Very Phyllis. So I have my prop set up. I have my paper, inkwell, quill, and my book. And I am feeling very Phyllis right now. I think the last things to do are take off, obviously, modern jewelry. All right, so I think in the portrait, Phyllis is holding quill in her right hand, doing this, and then a very common pose that you see in the 18th century is finger up, curled, and looking up like so. Do I look like the portrait? Is it close? A little bit? Well, everyone, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a super fun video to film and a cool concept to recreate. I would love to keep doing this, so if you have any suggestions of portraits that you see that you want me to recreate, I'd love to do so. I already have a little bit planned out, so I'm really excited to show you all what I have planned in the future. If you like my content, make sure to like and subscribe. I am Naomi Loves History on all platforms, with TikTok and Instagram. I'm planning on making content more frequently now, and I'm super excited about it, so please stay tuned, and I will see you all very soon.